one of the things that, I mean, if you do end up going to a facility where it is heavily based on a 12-step approach, as many are, it tends to limit the options for folks who really don't fit into that kind of paradigm very well. And that can be a problem. I mean, if you, for example, maybe you're an atheist, that tends to be a little more challenging when you're, in any kind of faith-based treatment program, really. But specifically the 12 steps, and they'll try and get around that by saying that they have programs for atheists specifically and stuff. But ultimately, that's not how that specific treatment program was designed. It was designed as a faith-based program. And it works very well for some people, but it just doesn't work for everybody. So it's something to be aware of if you're trying to choose a facility, and lots of them now will include the options like Smart Recovery at least. And I think as long as you're going to a bigger center, you're going to be able to attend those even in person now, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I was going to say that. So thank you for kind of prompting me there, that even locally, and with I'll say, when I say locally, I mean within our province, some of the 12-step facilities, 12-step heavy facilities allow their clients or their residents to, one in the Fraser Valley here, bring smart meetings in, and another one that I know of allows their residents to attend online smart meetings 3 times a week or however often they like. I think as long as it's not interfering with other responsibilities and things that they're supposed to be taking part in. But yeah. Mm-hmm. So those doors have opened up quite a bit, probably compared to 5 years ago, I'm sure.
Yeah, I could see that. For people who don't know, the Smart Recovery program is more of a pragmatic, cognitive behavioral therapy based program. So there's not really a faith or a higher power component to it as much as it is about looking at the way your thoughts are affecting your behavior and how your emotions are tied to your actions and things like that.
Yeah.
So the other thing about staffing that I've seen with Obsidian clients, I've had a couple interesting situations where a client will be sent, like I had one poor guy, he somehow got, he ended up getting sent to a facility for a very, very mild, I guess we can call it, they thought he had a problem with codeine. I'm not even sure that he did, but what he did have was a significant nerve pain problem that was not being diagnosed where he was from. He was working as a healthcare professional, maybe 12 to 16 hours a day. And this was more of a case of this guy. He had a really good, well, I don't know, a solid work ethic, I guess, but he wouldn't take the time off to see a physician. And when he saw a physician, they kept missing what the problem was. So eventually he got into trouble, and he got sent to a treatment center over east. And in the treatment center, he was able to, a doctor there referred him to a specialist who was able to diagnose him with the nerve impingement, and they actually fixed the problem that was causing him to be in pain all the time. Wow. So that he was needing to take pain medication. And he never had that was the end of his problem. He just, wow. So it's interesting to me that sometimes it can be taking the time. I've seen it a couple of times where the person just, especially with doctors are seem to be have trouble with they're caught up in their work, and they're working really hard, and they don't take maybe it takes 2 or 3 days off to get everything lined up so that they can get diagnosed or get whatever the problem is taken care of, and they don't do it, and then it compounds and becomes a bigger problem. They end up, whatever it is, alcohol or pain medication there, and then they get over there and they get the they get looked at, and then lo and behold, they didn't have it wasn't necessarily an addiction problem. It was like a significant structural or pain problem that they hadn't dealt with. So,
Yeah.
Being able to have access to a physician who can refer you to a specialist, that is something that I always keep my eye on too. If you can't get that done in a treatment center that you're going to, it's just something to be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the other thing I put down for staff there was whether or not they take care of, I mean, there's things they have like holistic coaches, wellness coaches, life coaches, dietitians. I mean, it can get kind of, the more money you want to spend, it can kind of get carried away with the number of specialties that they can have there. But depending on your problem, I mean, a dietitian would be important if maybe you have a comorbid eating disorder, right? So
it's kind of, if there's a evidence of some support staff in place or some like affiliate staffing of these specialties, it kind of is a good sign that there's like some thought and care put into like, to me, that says patient outcomes. Like we're going to kind of fill out some of the other areas of your life and help you, like you said, with a dietitian, or maybe it's a personal trainer is on staff, something that's going to like round out the experience a little bit more. And it shows that there's attention to people's well-being, I think.
Yes, you want to see that holistic approach, and you don't want to see a facility that's cutting corners. Like, it doesn't take people long to figure that out either, because in any of the facilities in Canada, anyway, the ones that have been around for a while, like Homewood, for example, when I went to Homewood, there was a lot of talk about how the food there used to be of a much higher quality. And then like, because there's so many return customers, they can't get away with just all of a sudden changing the menu overnight, right? Because people notice that type of stuff, and that's usually a sign that somebody's trying to make a little more money or save some money somewhere, and so that can obviously affect your experience. And I mean, to be honest, when I saw what was being served there, I was kind of baffled. Like, and then their kind of outlook towards food in general was, well, it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you're not doing drugs. And they would actually encourage, like, they had people, they would eating bags of candy and stuff, and they're, oh yeah, go ahead. And I was like, man, I don't know about that. I do not agree that just subbing in the quick carbs to try and get through that spot. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And then also curtailing exercise because the exercise facility was falling apart. These are things that don't give a person confidence in the facility.